What's happening YouTube? It's Simon 466 Cards, and today I'm going to show you the research that I've been doing to inform my collection and how I collect. And as you may know, Mario Lemieux was my favorite player growing up, and he's definitely my PC guy. And I saw this card that you see on your screen right here up for auction about a month ago, and I wasn't aware of this card. I wasn't aware of the set, and I ended up winning this. You can see that this is actually in my PSA or collector's account here. You can see I vaulted date was January 22nd, 2024. So I ended up winning this at auction because I thought it was a cool looking card. Didn't cost that much, to be honest. I think it was like 150 bucks, but it's a cool looking card. It's got Mario Lemieux and Wayne Gretzky on the card from the 90s, from SP. And Peter Forsberg, another great star, and I would say the worst of the four, Eric Lindros, on here, who's still not a bad guy to have. But I didn't know much about this card until I saw it, and it made me realize that I don't know about all the cards that have Mario Lemieux on it from the 90s, which is when I began my collecting journey as a teenager, right? And so what I did is, first of all, before I bought this card, I looked into it. You could do this on TCDB, Trading Card Database, and you can see here I found out that SPX Force, which is what this card is, SPX Force, you can see there, it was 1 in 350 packs for one of these, right? And so that's a pretty high number or low number depending on which way you're looking at it. It's a pretty rare card, so I ended up snatching it up. But then, like I said earlier, it made me realize that I just don't know about a lot of the cards that were printed in the 90s and what other cards that might bring that teenager Simon back into my life, feeling that joy of collecting. And so what I've done is I've gone to TCDB and I'm going through the entire 90s catalog and index and looking through every single set. So you can see here I've done the 90s, 1990. I've gone through all the different sets here. I did that for 1991 as well, and I'm just making my way through every single set and looking my way into every single insert that exists. So for 1992 Ultra, for example, you click on this insert and related sets, and you get to see what the various inserts are and or parallels and what the odds are, because they generally put them on here. It was a very, very helpful website. And I'm doing this right now. The next year up for me is 1994-95, I believe. Yeah, so you can see here I haven't done that yet, just done one set because of a card that was also up for auction. And I'm going to make my way through the whole decade from 1990 to the year 2000, 2001, maybe all the way to 04-05 to see what other cool cards I'm missing on, like this SPX Force that I didn't have or didn't know about before. And so that's just a little glimpse into my journey for collecting and how I'm using research and gaining more knowledge about what was printed in the 90s to inform my collection and how to build a collection that makes me happy, because that's ultimately why we do this, right? And so my question for you is, have you done something like this where you just do a deep dive, like literally down to every single set from every single relevant year, to see what other cards, hidden gems exist out there, like I found in this one? Fun little story about this. This is the PSA 8 that went for sale. I bought it right around the time that this SGC 8.5, and this 8.5 actually went for less than the PSA 8. And when I look at the card itself, I actually am not sure which one should be higher graded. Because here you can see the edges on the front of the PSA 8. It's pretty good. However, it is off center. You can see about that divot in the middle there. You see how the top part of that border doesn't match the bottom part, so that is a little bit off center there, definitely. Whereas if you look at this SGC 8.5, you can see that divot is perfectly in the middle here, that little divot here, right? But this left border still not the same size as this right border, right? So you can see that's off center here. Versus there. And when you look at here, the left border here, not as thick as the right border there. So it's definitely, both of them off center. This one more so because of that divot you can see right in the middle. But if we flip this to the back on the on the PSA 8, you can see bottom left corner is just a little white. The edge here a little bit white. Definitely some edge wear there. Top left corner, a little bit of edge wear. It's not great. Like, let's just be honest. You can see also the border is not quite centered. And if you look down here in the top right corner, a little bit where edge there, it's, like you could definitely make a case that maybe this shouldn't be an 8. It might be like a 7, 7.5. But if you look at this 8.5, like, look at that corner. Look at this edge. Look at that edge. Look at this corner. White all around here. Corners there. There's something here. I don't know what this white spot is. This corner, not great either. So, like, to me, I think I'd rather own this 8 because the back looks better and has just less damage, even though the center, you can see here that divot isn't quite centered. But I think beauty is in the eye of the beholder on this one. I do think it looks better in an SGC 8.5, to be totally honest, but I also think most cards look better in the SGC Tux, so that's just personal preference. But the one thing I also was thinking about is these cards, they get banged around a bit inside the holder, right? And so could some of this damage, especially for a die cut, which has a lot more edges, and so could this be a result of this card just banging around in here because of its die cut nature? I actually don't know. I'm just kind of throwing this out there. And maybe like some of the damage that happened to this card happened after it was inside this holder, as a result of, this card is 28 years old at this point, and not sure how long ago this was slabbed, but just some thoughts here. Would love to hear your thoughts. Do you think this SGC 8.5 should be graded higher than this PSA 8? I think for me, they should be about the same. I also think there's a case to be made that both of these should be like a 7 or a 7.5. But would love to hear your comments below. And also, have you done this type of deep dive research into, PC players that you collect to see what other hidden gems exist out there? Thank you as always for listening and watching. I will talk to you all soon. Cheers.